I am your host, Stars Tina. Get excited and let's have some fun. Good morning to you and also you. Welcome to the 7 a.m. Cup of Motivation. I'm Stars Tina, your star and host. I'm coming here Monday through Friday to bring you the motivation, the inspiration, and lastly, the transformation. Now, every Tuesday and Thursday, I like to bring you a special guest. But before we get into this special guest, I'm going to jump into today's topic really quick. We have 4 things that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Renee's going to pop them across the screen. I'm not saying I forgot them. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we have a lot going on today. As you know, every morning I'm working out with my crew, the Shooting Stars Collective. If you're looking for a community to come and work out with, join us. We had our cardio day. So I didn't know if you know, if you're a woman over 40, you should not do cardio hours and hours and hours. It just doesn't work for our bodies. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have our 30 minutes of thriving, and you can get on your treadmill, you can get on your elliptical, you can walk outside. It doesn't matter, but move your body. So today I want to share with you 4 things that Lisa Nichols shares. As you know, it's all about the Lisa Nichols these days. She's my favorite motivational speaker. And last week she did a 5-week challenge. I'm signed up for her 8-week program, but she has a 28-day program. I signed up for it. And every day she gives us some tools. And she mentions there's 9 areas in your life that you want to focus on. I'm not going to mention those. You can do her challenge. But she mentions 4 things you can do to raise your abundance. And the first one, you see it right there, raise your awareness. All right. What is it that you want to do? Where do you want to be in life? If you don't know where you want to be, if you don't know where you want to go, guess what, my friend? You're going to say stuck, like poop in your stomach. Don't ask me where that came from. But you ever like get, okay, I'm not going to go there. But you don't want to be stuck, right? No one wants to be, it's no fun, right? You want to move your body. The second thing you want to do is you want to take action. All right. I was supposed to be using this as a microphone today. You want to take action with everything that you're doing. If you claim you want to get fit, if you claim you want to make more money, if you claim you want that nice car, guess what? You got to take action. You got to make a plan. All right. If you want to make a certain amount of money, the third thing you want to do is create accountability. As you know, Renee, she is my main accountability coach. She is amazing. You need that around you, and you need more than one because there's different areas in your life, right? Let's talk about spirituality. Let's talk about your finances, your relationships. You need someone there to say, hey, you said you were going to save $1,000 a month. How you doing with that? You said you were going to work out. Why are you eating that donut? All right. You need that. So create community with you. Your vibe is your tribe, your vibration. All right. And the last one, call to action. Make sure that you're doing what you say you're going to do and follow up. It's all about the follow up. So those are the 4 things that Lisa shares with us to stay abundant. I'm so excited about today's guest. So I always say it takes a lot to impress me because I personally believe that most people just, I'm not going to say they do the bare minimum, just life is tough, right? Life be life in, we got the traumatides going on. So it's very challenging to find a person that is super motivated, that is super go-getter, a go-getter. And I heard this person speak on a platform that I'm a part of. It's called Breakfast with Champions, and it's on Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, I want to invite you to join. I have a segment there on Fridays at 7 a.m. And I heard him speaking, and various times I heard him speak, and he talked about faith and God. And when I first got on the platform, which was about 4 years ago, Glenn Lundy, he's the founder, he was talking about God and faith a lot. And I was like, is that their shtick to get more people to come through? Because, everyone has the thing that they use to get people to be their followers, to get buyers, to get customers. And I thought that was their thing. But then after being in the community for a while, I realized this is a real thing. They're really serious about their God stuff. Not to say I wasn't serious about my God stuff. I just wasn't that into it back then. And then, because my relationship with God was like this, was up, it was down. We got a relationship like that. And sometimes it just wasn't that good for me. And last year, a little over a year, my angel, Angelique Moore, I love her. She just made me realize that loving God and having faith can be kind of cool. It's like, I love my God. So I'm so grateful for her. And I will say that all the time because she really supported me in stepping in and leaping into my faith. But back to Jeremy. I heard him speaking, and he was speaking about faith a lot more, and I was like, wow, that's pretty wild. And then he joined us. We do some rooms at nighttime, and just everything I like about him. So we're going to bring him through, but before he comes through, we have a question of the day. Every day I like to do a question of the day. As you know, our word of the week. Renee, give us that word again, because I'm supposed to use this word every day. As we're here, we want to transform our minds, right? Jeremy, I hope you know this word, because our thing is we have a word of the week, and every week we want to use this word, and the word is shema. It's something with opulence. Renee's going to throw it up there in a second, but the question of the day, as she gets the word of the week up there, is choose one area of your life that you can be better in. What area would that be? And when you think of areas, you can think of finances, relationships, your health and wellness, all those different areas. That's the question of the day. If you could choose one area of your life to be better in, what would that area be? And for me, I'm going to say health and wellness. Even though I'm a fitness professional, men, you're lucky, okay? Because Adam eating that damn apple just pissed me off. Sumptuous, all right? It's a challenge for me. I'm gonna get it in there. But if I could change one area of my life, it would be health and wellness, because it's a struggle bus for me at this 51. I'm 51, and things change, all that stuff. So I'm doing better. It's just understanding stuff. So with that being said, we're going to pull our special guest. That's our word of the day. So we're supposed to be using that word a lot today, Jeremy. Good morning. How you
Good
doing?
morning.
How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm loving the energy right now. Holy smokes. Yeah, I already told you how much I like the background. I was like, this is just a peaceful vibe. And it was just like, I was like,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
let's
I love
go.
it. I am so excited. We got to keep this to 30 minutes, because it's supposed to be a 30-minute show, but I can tell already we could be here for like 5 hours. So where are you right now, by the way?
I'm in Ockelbo, Sweden. Long ways from you, probably about 4,000 miles away from you where you are.
Beautiful. What time is it there?
12:07, and it has currently been snowing since November. Let's see if we can.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't like it
Sweden.
anymore.
So
I've seen it.
Sweden. You said I don't like it anymore. Where are you from originally?
Originally from Oregon, West Coast boy, and then have lived around California, Texas, Germany, Lithuania, Mexico, Brazil, and Denmark, Germany, and then now Sweden.
Beautiful. Do you know how many countries you've been to in your life? Did you ever sit down and count them?
No.
Sweden. So when I think of Sweden, I think, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Can you do the Swedish accent? I think of the
Uh,
movies. You my Sweden.
jag kan inte göra din accent så mycket, so it's a little different, yeah.
God, I can't seem to do it. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, so tell us about yourself. I know that you're into basketball a little bit.
A little bit, a little bit.
I'm joking. So guys, this is our special guest today. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing. I'm excited.
So, to keep this sumptuous for today, I I actually had to look that up. Splendid and good looking, or something like that. So it reminds me of Zoolander. But I was the kid that was outside after some trauma that happened when I was a very young kid to our family. I would go outside until I couldn't see my hands playing basketball or football or soccer or baseball or throwing a ball against a wall. Whatever sport I wanted to be able to be doing, something that could either distract me or make me feel like I was growing in some kind of way, which I've learned over time. And as a life coach, I've learned how important growth is for us. It's what we're looking for all the time. That's what I was searching for. I didn't have any kind of comfort around our home anymore. Even my mother, who was having to take care of said family member that was in that coma at the time and then was paralyzed afterwards and was unresponsive for the most part. Like, I was alone a lot. And so I played sports till I couldn't see my hands at night, either because they were so dirty or because it was so dark. And grateful that I spent all of that time as a kid, because it's something I loved doing. And now I've been able to go to probably 9-ish countries, either for tours or to actually stay and live and be in a nice apartment and have not the most sumptuous life, but to have a comfortable life for myself, and now it's taking those next steps. But I'm very grateful for what sports has brought me.
Whoa, I want to pause right there. I had to pick up my notebook and take notes. So this right here, Jeremy, is my foundation. You notice it's a half lion's face, half face. This is my son's logo.
Oh,
And
cool.
if you didn't know, my son was murdered about 8 years ago. That was my biggest traumedy. And I wrote a book last year called No More Traumedy. November, when the book came out, someone said to me, well, Tina, children go through a lot of traumedies and there's no one there for them. So I've been speaking at different schools. And just to hear you say that when you were a child, you used sports and basketball to push you through that traumedy. And I never thought about that. And my daughter told me, I didn't realize this, when she was a child, my grandmother passed away and she dove into dance. And I
Hmm.
think children need to understand, how to deal with their emotions, and no one really talks to them about that. Can you just, because I'm going to use this from when I go to schools, this little clip here of you talking. Can you dive into that a little bit more? What age were you? And because you said you were by yourself a lot. I would love to hear a little more about that.
Yeah, I was 10, and I call myself at the time a traumatized introvert. Now I speak with so much exemption. I really can outspeak and put a presence not only in a room but in a town. I had someone told me here that it was very kind. They gave me a really cool gift, and they said, this place is going to feel a lot more empty without you. And I don't think we feel our presence that we can have for children, for people that are maybe going through things in life. And even just that arm around and, hey, I'm paying attention to you, like that eye contact. I care about your life. That's what I didn't feel like I had, outside of going to a Wednesday church service every once in a while. And what had happened, and my father he was a police officer, and his best friend, and a lady officer were struck by a truck that fell asleep on Interstate 5 over in Oregon. It's terrible, it's tragic. And the whole town, the whole state knew, especially because it was an officer and it was on the news. And so, when I went to school, the parents probably told their kids, oh, hey, give him space, just kind of leave him alone. He's going through some things. But I'm this confident, I'm the best athlete like in the whole state for my grade. I was playing like 3 grades up. I was always this confident, extroverted kid. And when I show up to school and I was wanting to just have a normal day, which is what kids are looking for. So for those kids that are going through things right now, I understand that you would love to be yelled at by your father that's no longer there. I understand that you would love right now to be in an argument and be so frustrated with your son who's no longer here. Like the normal things that certain people don't understand, would take for granted almost, we would love for one more time with those things. Maybe not now, maybe we've healed and kind of gone past it, of course. But what I was missing was some sort of normalcy. So when I went to school and people were like, why are you here? And I was like, oh, and it was like the kid that touched the stove. And then there's the reaction of everyone else that was like, I'm just trying to be a kid. Like, I didn't know anything. I was 10. And so I'm just like trying to exist. I made the football team the same day that it happened. It was the very first day of school. And so I was just excited about making the football team. And when I came home, these things happened. So when I look back at just the burying myself in whatever I was doing, because I just didn't feel like I had, outside of my mother, who did a wonderful job of trying to be superhuman for now three boys and be at all the sporting events and do so much, as a single parent, basically. I just didn't have that normal interaction. I didn't have an older brother that would stop what he was doing and ask me a bunch of questions. And it's for that reason why my family knows if I'm in the middle of a store and I end up in a conversation with someone, it could last for 20 minutes because I could be the one person's love and safety for that whole month, maybe for that whole year. And so it's really just, I just understood that for kids that aren't able to understand how important it is to embrace whatever emotions they are, including the ones of, I don't really understand everything that's going on. Okay, cool. Wherever you are right now is okay. And it's teaching kids to embrace that instead of being like, you should be so sad and you should be at home. And people try to put their emotions onto someone else as they're going through things, including as adults, to where it'll actually make the trauma worse because they're trying to teach someone how they should or shouldn't feel based on how they felt when they were going through it themselves.
Woo! That was fire, fire. I need some sound effects in here, Jeremy. That was so beautiful. The children are gonna love that. Kids are looking for a normal day. I like that. And I never would have thought about that. And it's true. People kind of like, they don't talk to you. Like, what makes them think you want to be alone? Now, I hear some coaching in there. I understand that you're a life health, I'm going to say life health business, all the coaches out there. When you coach children, is it just for sport? Well, tell us how that works. Because I would think it would be for sports, but listening to you, I'm sure it's about their life as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your coaching?
It can never be just about sports for me. It can never be just about relationships. It can never be just about anything, because we don't make a shift in one area based off of skills, strategies, or tactics for that one area. Like, we're not going to all of a sudden be such a better basketball player because we figured out some of our relationships with our family, and now we have a little more peace in our life, or we found God and we found some stability. And so we're now able to not go blank when we step on a stage and we try to talk to someone new for the first time, or we have so many things that we're trying to solve as human beings, which is the coolest thing. It's like, I am a life coach and I love doing what I do, because if somebody is trying to solve something, they're like, okay, yeah, I went, even going to therapy. Therapy is such a great thing, but they go to therapy and they're like, okay, I talked about the 2 worst things that ever happened in my life, and I feel a little bit better. Yes, you've taken some of that weight off of your shoulders, but there is like 692 times in your life where you have let yourself down, or let someone else down, or didn't tell the truth and live in the truth of what was actually happening, or get influenced by somebody else, which is why I ended up naming my podcast The Bright Influence. There's so many times that we have to kind of go back and navigate through and figure out how we can be better in all of those areas. So that way, when something does show up, we know we're going to be us. Like, we know who we are and we know how we're going to respond, so we can actually relax, because life has no favorites. I don't care who you are. You will not have a favorite in life where you're like, everything is totally fine always, or I don't make many mistakes. Sure, you might be okay right now. Something's going to happen. Emotion's going to happen. Trigger's going to happen. Someone's going to let you down, and you have to know your morals and values so on point to where you can be relaxed. Take care of the situation. You could be frustrated if you need to be frustrated and give somebody a consequence that they actually need to hear. There's so many things about life that make living amazing. It's fun. I'm curious. I'm fascinated. I adore life. But that only happens because there's all the things to learn. And so if I'm working with a kid, if I'm working with someone who's 61 years old, which I do sometimes, I feel like I'm their older brother who's going to give it to them straight, and who's going to love them and teach them how to live in the truth. Because that is the only way that you're ever going to figure things out, because that includes moments where you're like, you know what? I suck at this. Okay, suck at it. Learn where to start. Then you can actually go from there. Without the truth, you have nothing. It's everything to me.
I love it. I'm like, I think I want you as my life coach. So, how did you get into that? Because I've had conversation with people about coaching, and not even just life coaching. They're like, oh, that's fake. That's a waste of money. Did you begin getting coached and someone told you, you're like, oh, I want to do this? How did you get started into that with it?
I started speaking and sharing my life, sharing my sins, sharing my problems back in 2016 or 2017. I can't remember what it was. And what I noticed is that since I was talking, I wasn't talking about the things that I was great at. I was talking about the things that I sucked at and things that I had worked on over and over and over again, and that I was fascinatingly curious about. And some of those things were just learning how to make eye contact with a stranger, to tell my friends, hey, I love you, and I'm so glad you're in my life, as a man, which is really, at that time, was not very rare. It was very rare. And so understanding, like, I have so many things that I've screwed up on for so many years and I'm tired of it. And now when I go to bed, I'm pretty excited about my life. I'm pretty excited about the direction that it's headed in. So I started speaking on podcasts. I started speaking in this small community in Lithuania. I was living in an international university where I was playing basketball there. I was living in the international university. As I walked around the campus, I would make eye contact with people and say hi as I was first showing up. And then pretty soon it was, hey, what's going on? And then pretty soon it was like, hey, I'm actually going to lunch. You want to join me? And then I just had this mini Tony Robbins moment in my life where I didn't ask for this, but like people just started asking me questions about my life based on how I was showing up. And so I was doing one-on-ones like all the time. And it was so much fun to help these kids. And I know what all they're doing now. And they're doing so great. And I'm very proud of all of them. And then I started, and I spoke on stages, and I spoke in morning rooms, in morning actual rooms, not just Clubhouse, but actual rooms in life. And I was like, man, there are so many important things about, like, you know, you're going to have family in your life forever. You're going to have these close friends in your life forever, but you need to be able to monitor that close circle group that you're looking at and be like, I need to walk away from this family group for a little while and go get so strong that when I come back, I can influence them. And I'm not being influenced anymore, which is a very common practice when you turn 18, 19, 20 years old and you're going away from family and you start to see all the problems that your family has, which is what it is. And so, like, I just got asked a bunch of questions. And then I had the gift of being trusted with very serious things as well. And thankfully, with how I went through life with my dad and having to kind of think about things in for my family in a different way at 10, 11, 12 years old, I was ready to take care and to listen and to be able to understand and empathize and see them and help them see themselves and help them see where they could go from here. That wasn't a negative, pessimistic attitude, no matter what it was. To where you'll hear me say, and this is the last thing I'll say on this part, I'm really excited for you because in this moment you have a lot happening. And so someone who's listening right now, there may be something that you're going through right now that is so challenging for you. It sucks. It's not sexy. People say, oh, you're going to go through the grind. You got to be able to go through the mud. It's not sexy when you're in it. It sucks. I hear you. But in that moment, I'm excited for you because you're finally at a place where you're actually going to listen to that inner self. You're finally going to listen to God. You're finally going to find something in your heart that's going to change all those mistakes and all those things that have happened to you for so many years. I'm excited for you. Congratulations. You now made a big enough mistake that you finally get a change.
You know you're talking to me, right? You're like right at me. You say you're talking to them, but you're talking to me because life is like, whoa, I feel like I'm on a surfboard, just like, woo, just trying to get through life. I love it. I love it. I understand you speak 5 languages. How did that even happen? Some people struggle with just one. What are those languages?
German, Spanish, Portuguese, Swedish now, and English. And I think that was one of my big turning points, actually, because that was in 2015 when I first learned German. And I could understand it about 2 months in. I was sitting on my bench in basketball, and my coach was so frustrated with me. He was a Serbian coach. He spoke 30 words of English. So those were, you suck, F word, S word. It was all the bad words. And so it wasn't very helpful if he wanted to try and coach me. And this one day I told him, I was like, Coach, just speak German with me, please. Like, I don't want to hear your English because you're just frustrated. And he was so mad, and he started yelling at me in German. And I understood, and this little smile kind of came across my face, and he was just like, and why are you smiling? And I was like, Coach, I understood you. And I was so excited because, like, we all took Spanish classes or French classes or something, in the US, and we don't learn anything in class. But being there and, like, actually devoting myself hours upon hours during the day and looking things up as I was walking and always being, like, presence of mind, after like 2 months, I could speak it a little bit. I was like, whoa. Took that, went back to Spanish, made that fluent, went to Brazil, made Portuguese fluent, and was attempting to make a connection with someone who was Portuguese. And just, I learned how to immerse myself in it, and the same keys apply in all the changes in our life of how we can immerse ourselves into different skills, into different trainings. And we're so incredible. Human beings are incredible. And I've said the same things about myself of what I can and can't do that you've probably said. We are so incredible. There's weight that you have to take off. There's things that you've done in the past that you need to let go so you can clear up some of that, RAM workings like a computer in your mind and in your heart. But man, when you start to clear that up, like, we are really, really incredible. So it's a good skill to help give me confidence in everything else.
I love it. I love it. So I want to get into this basketball because you spoke up. I was talking a couple of weeks ago about the book Relentless, and I want to know about that mindset because basketball is my favorite sport, and it's because it's easy to understand. Football, I can't get into it. It's basketball and boxing because boxing, boom, you knock them out. You're a winner. Basketball, you go down, you get it's that simple. But talk to us about the mindset. Did you always have that mindset? Did it start from the trauma in your life? But tell us, something that keeps you going with that relentless mentality.
I had to I'm working with a kid right now. We're watching film together, and he's a really, really nice kid. And I actually had to tell him, followers, he's a follower of Jesus. He's so kind. Like, but one of the things that I'd tell him, I was like, you have to be kind, but you have to earn the trust and respect. And one of the things that I had as a kid before, it's interesting you call it trauma, but he actually wants you to explain that. But before the things happened when I was younger, I was always the most competitive, aggressive. I will step on your throat and laugh at you as I do it, and probably almost in a way that was mean, maybe a little bit. I was just good. I was really good. And I was lucky because I had a brother that was 3 years older, 4 school years older, and I practiced with him every single day. I practiced with his team every single day. So I was fortunate. When I lost my competitive edge, it was when I had people around me that were trying to put their thought of my ceiling and things that I was capable of. And it wasn't my dad. My dad looked at me when I was 5 and he was like, go play with the 8-year-olds. You're not supposed to be here. Like, always pushing me, always believing in me, always giving me the time, that love. Like, what a real father it needs to, and a real mentor needs to do for somebody. It's uplifting. It's powerful. No, please, come on. He kicked my butt every day. I had to earn it. I had to beat him. And thank goodness I beat him before he got into bed. So then I could talk crap to him for the next 20 years as he laid there. But the thing that I turned off was really sad for me because I lost that competitive edge. Your circle means everything. And the people in that small town, they didn't know how to believe in themselves. They didn't know how to they put ceilings on me because they went to a junior college or a D3 or an NAI school. And I was in a small town. And so when they looked at me and heard that I got a full ride junior college scholarship, they're like, oh my God, that's the best you're going to get. And that was for baseball. Whole long story. But I was just like, oh, okay. So I had to listen to those. And what happens is people lose sight of their own ceiling, which it doesn't exist because they took trust and took heed in words of people that they actually respected. And that's probably what's happened in your guys' life that ends up listening to this is you respected somebody to the point where you changed and listened to someone else's perspective of who they thought you could be. I lost that. I didn't find that again until I was, I don't know, a couple years ago, really, where I was able to be really, really uber competitive again and want to win at everything. There's a sport over here called paddle. And I was talking to my therapist and great friend 4 weeks ago. And I was like, this morning was a really cool moment. I'm playing this sport called paddle, which is the better version of pickleball over here. And trust me, it's so cool. And I was wanting to win so badly. Like I was frustrated, but I was having fun. And I was like really trying to get it. It was like only my second time getting it. And when I walked away, the thing I took away was I'm competitive again in everything. I'm healing. And the last thing I'll say with this is you cannot selectively numb. So as I was saying, for those children, as those people that go through things in life, we will turn off certain things in our life to avoid. And then we will also turn off other areas. And we will turn what we turn down in one area, we turn down and dim in the other. And so it's hard for us to be the person that we actually need to be, which the energy that we get from being that person is why, even when you're speaking, like people can feel that. When I'm playing basketball, people can feel that. When I step into a city, people can feel that because I'm no longer turning down any of the dials. But also when I get hurt, I really feel it. When someone gives me a gift, it was such a kind gift, like 3 days ago at church, 2 days ago, I don't know what day we are on. I felt it. Like I'm literally going to cry in that moment and give that person a hug. I feel everything, which is exactly what you're supposed to feel. And that's when the peace comes in because now you're feeling things and then it ends and then you get to leave it there. Same thing with basketball. Every possession matters. So I have to be able to experience it, feel it, happen, have fun, try to be competitive, try to figure it out, and then move on to the next play. And so that's why I said it can never be just one thing, but I freaking love this sport. It's fun. It's fun to dunk on people. It's fun to do things that I've always wanted to do. That didn't happen until this year.
And you're currently playing now?
Yeah, I'm currently playing in Sweden. We have 2 games left. We have 1 game tomorrow in a place called Eskilstuna. And then we have one final game against Högsbro, which is like the Celtics of this league. They're really, really good. So if we beat them, it'd be pretty cool to finish the season.
Love it. Oh my God. See, I knew these 30 minutes would go by fast. Yeah. Traumedy is a word that I created. I wrote a book last year called No More Traumedy. A traumedy is when the energies of a trauma and a tragedy collide. When this happens, life-changing experiences occur. And I say everyone in the world has gone through some type of traumedy. So that's what traumedy means.
Trauma and what collide?
Trauma and tragedy.
Oh, tragic. Oh, I was
Because
thinking
I've gone
trauma
through.
and comedy, and I was like, I don't know if that works.
So you are correct because years ago someone did patent that word, but then when I thought, I came up with it. I've looked it up. And trademark, not patent, trademark. I trademarked the word traumedy to me, trauma and tragedy. So you are right that.
Mm,
How did you get into Breakfast with Champions? Because that's where I met you, and I'm so grateful, guys. And tell us when your segment is.
in like 2 hours from right now. So every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I never know what time it is where I am. And I got into that because well, so when I went on Clubhouse for the first time, I realized that there was a lot of cool people that I wanted to impress and I wanted to learn how to network with. And so I actually wrote a small ebook called The 4 Tiers of Networking, because there's people in your life that have no idea you exist, and they had a whole life before you, a whole Rolodex of people that are reaching out to them, that care about them. And it takes time. And it was a really cool practice for me to understand, number one, like I can play with this clout thing. Like I can figure out how to navigate this to where I'm nobody technically in the real world. And but I do have a lot of things that I do for people. So can I find a way to put this out there? And when I started speaking, I would go into other people's rooms, and there was one person that was asking about trauma, or traumedy in this case, or
Traumedy, traumedy.
traumedy. That's right. And they were asking about kids and like, what can we do for kids that are going through these things and have foster care? And sometimes I just don't know what to say to them. And nobody spoke. And this is like the very first day, or one of the very first months, and there was 1,000 people in the room, and I was unmiked, and I was like, hey, if no one can help her, I'd love to give some advice in this situation because I think it's important. Kids just want normalcy. Kids just want a normal day. And I gave one of the same things I said here today. And then I heard a little bloop, and there was like, oh, you become a moderator in a room with 1,000 people. And I spoke on that stage. It wasn't Breakfast with Champions, but I spoke on that stage from 12 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next day, because it was COVID times when we weren't doing anything, and helped and answered questions, and people just kept coming up and asking questions. And I ended up running the room. There was millionaires and people that were CEOs of Amazon, and these huge people with these big names, and everyone knew who they were. And I was the one coaching everybody. And then my mom came out. It's 8 a.m. I have my foot on the counter. My back's on the floor. I'm eating like a taco. And my mom comes out at 8 a.m. and she goes, what the heck? And I looked at her. I was like, Mom, I'm on mute. I was like, I found my app. I can actually help people. She's
I
like,
found my tribe.
what are you doing? And I was like, helping people. This is amazing. Like, and I didn't find my tribe at the time though. I built my own tribe, but I found the people that I could help, and I found that I could actually mean something and matter to multiple people instead of just helping one. So us being able to help one person or our family and live a pretty normal life is great. But being able to help in your way, there's something that every person has, is whoever ends up listening to this, that is really, 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 really valuable. But it's only when you step into the truth of who you are. And man, it was just so fulfilling and such a cool thing. So anyways, yeah, long story short, I'm talking next to Les Brown. I've talked next to Dane Cook. I rapped to Vanilla Ice. I sang to the lead singer Rascal Flatts. Like, there were so many things that happened while I was on that app. And I was like, this is great. And it really jump-started my speaking and business career to actually turn it into a business and have people be like, Jeremy, you're supposed to get paid for this. It's like, you're really good at it. You probably should get paid.
I love
So
Renee, we're going to have to schedule. So, Jeremy, as I told you, when I wrote the book, God works in amazing ways, because I can't touch boys, young men, like you can touch young men. And I've been speaking at different schools, and I want to interview you, but have you just talk about traumedy for kids. And then I show it to the children, because I can't take you to New Jersey because you're in Sweden. But your
I can
story
come to
is just
Jersey though.
really
Probably. Yeah. And maybe in the off season, we can talk about it.
okay, awesome. Because it's just like I didn't plan on working with children, like who plans those things? But God, children, I feel horrible about things I did as a parent because I didn't know. When my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother passed away,
Mm-hmm.
my daughter and my son were like this with my grandmother, and my daughter and we went to walk by the water, and my son was in the house by himself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know as a mom. I was a single mom. I was young. I didn't know, okay, this kid's going through I was going through something as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that God has put us together to help these children. And um I went to like 3 different schools, and it was like 80 kids in each school, and the children, Jeremy, like and you see this all the time. It's like they're looking and they're like they want that help because no one talks to them, like an adult. So I'm going to give you some rapid fire questions. But before I get to these rapid fire questions, any outro, anything you want to leave us with? Your podcast, tell us about your podcast, your segment, your coaching, anything you want to leave us with before our rapid fire questions.
Yeah, just the truth. The truth is everything. The truth, you'll find the answer in the truth. You'll find the ability for you to stop playing like you're a character. You want to be a coach, you want to do something in your life, like you have to find the truth, because that's where you can start where you actually are, and then build up skills or build up the things that you actually need instead of faking it. Please, for the love of God, stop faking it till you make it. Like it's the dumbest thing. It's actually any type of skill learned in a microwave is going to fall apart afterwards. I promise you. It's not sustainable. It's like the same thing with relationships. Stop rushing into things where you're like, oh, I need to be this. Stop, please. It's why I developed, it's called the bright influence. Like I want to be a bright influence in people's lives. I want to be able to be someone who's going to tell the truth always. It's where you can actually trust me, and it's fun being able to work with my clients. I really appreciate it. You can reach out to me on Instagram and see if we can work together. A lot of times I just do a free session, and then what we talk about that day is enough to kind of push you to that next step, because I don't want to take on too many clients. Then I can't give the right attention that I need to the people that I work with one-on-one.
I love it. I know we're supposed to be out of here, but we're going back to that fake it till you make it. FAKE. He said, do not fake it till you make it. Years ago, when I was doing sales, they were like, fake it till you make it, if you want to be positive. But now I keep the fake it till you make it a little bit. But Jeremy, I want to add this. Faith it. FAITH. Faith it till you make it. Have that faith in God and what you can do. What are your thoughts on that? Agree, disagree?
People can feel it. So people feel our emotional intelligence is extremely high for human beings. So people feel when somebody's trying to be a coach or trying to be this or trying to do that. So instead of faking it, you can embrace it. So it's probably similar to being in faith, where if you're on stage and you're uncomfortable, you can just tell people. The most powerful people in the world are those that are able to express the truth in real time. So instead of me being on here, let's say this is my first time being on a podcast, and I was like, okay, I need to be podcasting. All right, I'm here. You can feel it. If I was actually going, like when it came on, I was super excited. It's genuine in me right now. But if you talked to me 2 years ago and I did the same thing, it would have been like, it would have been like me trying, and people feel it, and then people turn off. People will turn off the show if you're faking it to make it. They will walk away. Like I watched followers lose all the time on Clubhouse. There was a reason why I could hold 200 people in a room for 8 straight hours. Like the stickicity or whatever you want to call it was like 30 some minutes per person. People have a hard time keeping someone's attention for 10 seconds on a TikTok. I was holding people for 30 minutes because if I was going there, I was like, that's not a word. Jeremy, that's not even a word. All right, here I am, Jeremy Burright, a professional speaker. Like it's the ability to laugh with ourselves and roll with it instead of faking it. It's so important. And then it's lasting. Because then if you step into a moment and you're unprepared and you're like, if I came on this thing and you were started talking and I felt completely distracted, I could be like, hey, I'm really distracted right now. Okay, take a breath, flow with it. Okay, let me see if I can be present for a second. Some of my answers might suck today. Let's go. Like I'm telling you, there's so much power in that. I want real power, lasting power. And maybe that's where faith comes in for you. Faith it for you. Maybe that's more powerful. I don't know. So can't speak on that.
I love that. Gosh, you're pretty amazing, dude. All right. Are you ready for your rapid fire questions? They're going to come at you and you're going to give the answers. Here we go. So we can pretend this. You said you played baseball, right? So get batter up. Oh no, you're the batter. I have to throw the ball. Here we go. I got it mixed up. Okay, here we go. I never played.
This is amazing. I feel like I'm watching like a step 1 yoga class. Okay.
I really don't. Okay. So in high school, we didn't have a gym. We did have a softball team. We lost every single game. It was just for fun. But let me try now. Okay. Got to get the tobacco. I don't know. That's what they do, right? Okay. Here we go. Question number 1. Your favorite language out of all of them?
Swedish, for sure. And it's only because my my mom's grandfather came from here. So it's actually part of my heritage.
I love it. Next one. Favorite basketball team and player of all time?
Damian Lillard, for sure. I came from Portland, and so I'm rooting for the Bucks right now, which is different, but go Bucks.
Are these American teams or is this somewhere else?
Damian Lillard came from Portland, and the Milwaukee Bucks is not the most known team, but that's where he went.
Okay, we love it. Next question. You like these skills, right? I'm getting better.
It's interesting.
Favorite type of water, because we talk about water, have this type of water. Do you have a favorite type of water?
Yes.
Poland Spring,
No, the Fiji. I actually love the Fiji.
the Fiji. Here we go. Okay.
Hmm.
If you had to choose a place, you've been all over, to live for the rest of your life, Hawaii, New York, Paris, London. You've been so many places. The one place that you had to live there for the rest of your life, where would it be?
Back to coach mode, you have to find a home within yourself because you're going to go to a lot of places. You're going to have a lot of change, and so
Ah, lot of mercy. I love this man. That is the best answer I've ever heard. Say that again. Say that again for someone who didn't quite get it. The question was, where would you live if you had to live somewhere for the rest of your life? Oh,
you have to find a home within yourself. There's going to be so much change, and you're going to be able to go to a lot of different places. You're going to have to move cities, and when you have a home in yourself, you don't ever feel like you're out of place, and you will meet the same people. You attract the exact same things, and you get to be the same person everywhere you go if you find that home within who you are.
I needed that. I really did, because right now I'm like, where is home? Is it New Jersey? Is it Texas? Is it California? Is it Florida? Like, I needed that. Okay, next question. Here we go.
Back to baseball.
All right. Favorite type of music?
Piano music for sure. I sing and play, and I've been learning a song called "Opening Door" or "Starry." It's such a beautiful. There are some amazing Swedish songs. So
Okay, so Jeremy, this isn't for me, but I don't know if this is true, but this is what I heard. There's some women watching this right now, and they want to know if you're single. Are you single? That wasn't a planned question.
yes, I am.
Ooh, so ladies, you hear that? Okay, okay. Here we go. Next one. I write such like a chicken. Your favorite platform: Facebook, LinkedIn, Squarespace. Squarespace isn't a platform, but you know what I'm talking about.
Clubhouse. I got to speak. People can hear through the BS. So people actually got to know who I was, and I get to hear their stories.
I love that. I'm getting revved up for this. I think I want to play baseball now. Your favorite holiday?
Christmas. Oh my gosh. Come on. Time with family, around the tree, giving someone gifts. Okay, come on.
I'm actually going to do this in a baseball. Favorite Bible verse?
People that woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight, because no matter how good I think I am, I'm actually not. And neither are you. We are all special in our own ways. We're all completely imperfect, but if I was to think that I was actually wise, I would be so foolish, and I would actually be in my previous state, which I'm very vulnerable to the devil. Because if I think I'm good, then I don't think I maybe need God as much.
Ladies, you heard him, right? He said he's single. Go to his Instagram. You hear that? All right, here we go. Last one. Your favorite speaker?
Patrick Bet David. I don't even know that he's known as a speaker. He's a podcaster. He's a businessman, but he's somebody that lays things out in a way where even if he's by himself and just doing a self podcast, let me lay this out for you. Let me describe this for you, what he's doing in that moment. That's exactly what he does. So he is so engaging with his audience. He's never talking at somebody. He's always allowing them to play a part. And it's something that I highly admire. And the things that he talks about earning respect and admiration. Love is never earned. Love is not something we should ever have to fight for, or that we should have to play for. But admiration and respect is, and he really talks about that, and he carries himself in a way that I look forward to if I can end up being on his podcast someday and just connecting with him. So I'm going to take my 4 tiers of networking and work towards creating that connection with Mr. Pat David in the future.
I love it. I had a question that popped out of my head. I was going to say, now I could see how you could hold a room for hours and hours and hours, because you have such an abundance of knowledge in your head. And I'm sure your dad, is super proud of you. And, like, I love, this had to be like my best interview of all time. You are a beacon of light. You're an angel. You are just so wonderful. If you're just coming in, guys, this is Jeremy. I don't want to botch up your last name. Pronounce your last name for me, please.
Burright.
Burright. Thank you so much for coming through. I never imagined that I would, be interviewing, but this was so much fun. I learned so much. We're going to do this again, hopefully on a podcast because I do have a podcast as well. It's called Mind, Body, and Soul Awakening, and it's where people share their traumas and how they overcame them. And you definitely had a trauma, and you definitely are living a triumphant life right now. And I'm so grateful and honored to have you here today. So make sure you follow his podcast, guys. We went a little bit over, but it's okay. It's okay. I hope you had fun. Did you have fun?
I did, and that's the power of the truth. As I said, I'm not good, and neither is anybody else. But the power of the truth is really, really powerful, and you can talk about it for hours. Thank you for having me.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we need some outro here. We don't have outro music yet. This is new. I'm getting it together. I'm getting my intro, my outro. Just doing, getting it together. Thank you for coming through.
Thanks.
Remember, family and friends, you are amazing. Peace and about 11 degrees. Bye.